Just turn it off.
That's yours.
Sorry about that. Well, got off to a little bit of a rocky start. I had to switch from my phone to Jill's phone. Mine, it just locked up. I don't know. We've been having pretty good luck with reception here lately and having pretty good luck with a lot of things. So I don't know, but Jill's phone seems to work pretty good. So Wednesday night, we have typically set that aside for a question and answer. And this is the one where I have my lovely secretary right by my side here. So while she's not dictating, she can monitor the questions on the line, and then she can, get them to me. So if you have questions tonight, if you put them in all caps, then we kind of know that they're coming in. But we're getting pretty good at this now, so we can detect questions even when they're not in caps these days. So what a day. I was telling you last night about this planter that I'm building, and I'm, pretty geeked on it. Anytime I get into something, I get pretty geeked on it. But here it is. I wanted to show you. I brought it in. So it's just a regular 50-gallon plastic barrel, and then you do a layout on it so that you can make these cuts. And all you do is you make a 5-inch cut, and then you connect it up with a little skill saw or a saber saw, jigsaw, and then put some heat on it. I used a torch, and then I took a board and I sharpened the board so I could stick it in there, and then I would just pry it down till it made this lip. Let's see if I can hold this up. So it made that little lip right there. See that? It's a lip. But the idea here is, all right, I did I counted them. There's 16 rows of 3. So what would that be? What's 16 times 3? 8, 48. 48. So if I had 48 plants in a row, and let's say I spaced them at about a foot, almost 50 feet. So, I can put a lot of plants in here, and I've seen where they've planted everything from green onions to strawberries, and you can make these openings bigger if you want, but I'm going to go with the smaller slit because it would be less area that I'll have to weed, And you can do multi-species. One of the things I heard today, somebody had some input that the 50-gallon ones, 55, are kind of heavy. So moving them is a little bit difficult. And, if you have them sitting and they're facing south and, you're not getting the good sun on one side, then you're kind of in trouble because they're so hard to move. They're going to be heavy. It's going to be probably several hundred pounds. But when I heard that, I thought I can incorporate something else into this to make it even better. I'll just make a little lazy Susan on the bottom of it so I can spin it. I mean, that would be really, wouldn't that be neat?
Kaleidoscope said, put it on a furniture dolly.
There you go. There you go. Furniture dolly. Put wheels on the bottom of it so I can move it around. If you had it on a patio or something, you might want to move it around a little bit. I saw one with strawberries, and it was just like a bush, and did very well. They got a lot of strawberries off of it. So I'm building a patio right outside of this room. And I like things like that on the patio. I like things that are growing and, that you can take strawberries off and eat them. That's just a lot of fun in my book. I would like to do a little bit of product review, right? That's not really what we do here, but lately, and I guess it's because the holiday season, I've been getting some really nice gifts to the farm. I got some really nice cheese the other day, but it's gone, so I can't show you that. But some friends brought that up, and that was really good stuff. And I did a pig for Rachel Jamerson. Was that Friday? Yeah, Friday. And she came up with, actually, Andrew Cross came too. He's a member of the tribe. And Rachel brought me some soap. This is soap that she makes. Look at that. This one here is coffee, and it smells like coffee. I like coffee, so I guess if I took a shower with this in the morning and went and met with some of my buds for coffee, they'd say, "Oh boy, you've had enough. You've had enough coffee." You smell like coffee. It smells good. And this one is, I'm not, this is kind of lemony. Is that lemony or lavendery?
Probably. Lavender.
Lavender? That's lavender. Looks good enough to eat, doesn't it? And this one is rose, and this one came right from her yard. These are, I think rose hips, would they be?
Probably.
This smells so good. My grandparents had a candle that smelled like this in their bathroom. I had one bathroom in the house just like us. And whenever you went up there, you would smell that. And I've never forgotten that smell. Really smells good. So I used some of that last night, by the way. I actually got into the rose one. I was feeling, I think like a lot of guys, after a day of hard work, some days I'm feeling like I'd like a little bit of lavender smell, and some days I'd like to get into the more lemony smell. Last night I was feeling really ganky, and I got into the rose, and it just really felt good when I got out of the shower and wiped off. Okay, so there's my product review. I actually got something else too from my buddy Rudy. Lives out in Pittsburgh. I don't think he listens to this, but we were talking about jackets and stuff, and he said, "Well, I have one that's too big for me. I'll send it to you." And he sent this. I got it on Friday. This is an extreme cold weather military issue, but it was brand new. And I tell you what, it wasn't real cold out today, but I put this on, and all I had under it was just a shirt, and I was fine. And I was out, and it was windy, and it was whipping pretty good, but it wasn't terrible or anything. But nice, very, very nice. I highly recommend that. And while we were butchering, Rudy also let me have this. He brought this with him so we could use this. And I recommend these. This is it's called a Mora, M-O-R-A. And this is what Swiss military are issued these. And if you look at it, it's nothing to write home about. It's just a piece of band stainless steel, but it sharpens to a really sharp edge, and it seems to stay there for a long time. Now, this knife is about a $12 knife, but it comes with a pretty nice plastic sheath. And my belt holster rig, I was carrying my folder on there, but this plugged right into it, and I actually like a fixed blade a lot better than my folding knife blade, because usually what I'm using a knife for around here is cutting bale strings, cutting netting off of straw bales, and then just various things. Like a lot of times you just use it to pry things, sausage that's hanging down in the hanging room. Usually cut pieces of it off with this and devour it. Well, I'm not supposed to do that. But great knife. I highly recommend the Mora knife. This one's a little bit better. This one's oh, I can't read it. But it is a Mora. Made in Sweden. And anything that's made in Sweden's got to be better than anything made in the United States, right? Good knife, though. I've been getting a lot of cool things lately. That's not all I got. I got this pair of socks. And I actually have one of them on right now. I mean, a pair of them on right now. I get this from some friends brought this by. Am I looking at that right? No, I had the flag upside down. We wouldn't want that. We're not in distress, are we? These are really nice socks. Stone Mountain, made in the United States of America. And they're 100% wool. So I've been making out lately, and it's not even Christmas time. All right, so Wednesday night is our Q&A. But before I start that, I have really some exciting news. I'm kind of discussing it. Okay, this year we did 3 Homestead hog harvest classes. And as you may remember, let's see, I got a little message here. Okay, during the early part of the Wu flu, I was really pushing hard for people to get smart about processing animals because that's where it's at. And it really came to pass that a lot of processing facilities were closed down, and anything that they can do to make your life miserable right now, they're going to do it. So it's a demoralization campaign, and if they can threaten your food supply, they're going to try and stick it to you. I don't think that it's going to last very long, but I think everybody got to see to be a sovereign unit. If you've got a little homestead and you've got some animals going on it, it really behooves you to be able to process your animals, get them preserved, and get them put up the way that needs to be without you having to trailer them someplace to somebody else who could be closed or could be jammed up and you can't get them in. Right now, you can't get any animals processed until, late spring right now. So it really would behoove you to learn how to do that. And so this year we decided, okay, we're going to do a few extra classes. We've typically done one class here, and we'll do one class at somebody else's farm. And so we tried to stay with that, and we did one class on Beaver Island that was outstanding. We got the pictures today, by the way. Might put a smattering of them up on the tribe page this week. Real good class. It was true homestead hog harvest because we had problems and we overcame them. Problem, overcome, problem, overcome. And I was thinking about today, the host farm had a few things happen that they couldn't know was coming. And it could have been like they felt like, oh, they were not prepared. But I was supposed to bring a weed burner with me, and I forgot it. So part of the problems were my problems. We got it done, and people got the class, and I think they did well with it. We actually got pictures from one of the participants of the class. It's a father and son outfit from, let's see, where's he from? He was from,
Idaho. No, Tennessee.
No. That was the implement salesman.
Yeah.
This was Scott I'm talking about.
Utah.
No, not
Wyoming.
Utah. Wyoming.
I was in the
There's
right
someplace
area of
out
the
there.
world.
He's out there someplace. But he sent me pictures. They got right after it the next weekend and knocked some pigs down. They had never done it before, and so I consider that a real a real victory, right there. And let's see, the Stumpos did that same thing next weekend. I think that's it for now. Well, wait. I came in and we wound up doing 3 classes total, 1 off and 2 on. And it took a while to process that whole thing. Like, could you do 5 in our 3 days long? It's, we start on a Friday, we do the kill, and then we're breaking carcasses down on the Saturday, and we start the grinding of sausage and the salting of meat, and Sunday we're heavily into salting and charcuterie and stuff like that. So could you do more, kind of let it sink in? And I think I could. I think I'd want to. I mean, I know I could, but would it become work? And that's what I'm concerned about, because we're not really set up for that so much. But I came in and was talking with Jill, and we thought, well, what if we did a Homestead Hog Harvest 2.0? So we did an overlap of day 2 from the first class. So we did a breakdown again, and then we went right into the sausage making, right into the charcuterie, but went a lot deeper with it. So we did talk about that today, and we got some things written down, and we're going to continue to discuss it. But it keeps coming up that it would be nicer if we had a bigger building to work in that had better lighting and was facilitated better for a classroom type thing, and with a better kitchen in it that we could utilize even better. Because I think that the 2.0 class would include more cooking. And, if we do go with this, I want to focus more on, hey, this is a hog processing class, and it kind of focuses on the type of pig that we raise. So if you guys don't know, we raise the pigs here, okay, about as long as anybody. As a matter of fact, I think we are the oldest producers of Mangalitsa, because some of the first ones, well, the first one was a guy by the name of Heath Putnam, but he's out of it now. There was another guy in southern Michigan. I don't remember his name. He was before the pure Mangalitsa people and the royal Mangalitsa people. I don't remember his name, but he's out of it now. And that was way back. That's going back like 11 years. And but we were the first farm in Michigan to have them, and we've done pretty well with it, and going to stay with it. We've only really scratched the surface on this pig of what you can do with it. My wife, bless her heart, decided that she was going to get me a present for Christmas, and we're going to get a tattoo about this big. I think it'd be kind of fun. All right. We haven't set any dates for the 2.0 class. We have set dates for the regular class. So if you go to bakersgreenacres.com, look under Anyone Can Farm, and you'll see this class schedule. Last year it filled up pretty quick. It's a year from now, but I figure we might as well get it out there so we can start building our life around the schedule. More than 3 classes here. I think we could do it. And maybe if we did I think we could handle it. I do.
I gotta
So-
switch this off of the Wi-Fi a minute.
Have that. No, we've got to have a good picture. I hope that's better. We've had really good luck here for quite a while. We even forgot what the buffering was all about. So I'm kind of thinking that I'd like to spend, tomorrow is Christmas Eve. So I think we will probably suspend the show for Christmas Eve, because I'm going to be with my family, and Christmas Day, I think we'll suspend it as well. So Christmas Day will be what? Friday. And then we're off Saturday and Sunday. Unless I start missing you guys and I want to do an impromptu, terrible picture, all
Yeah.
pixelated.
Oh, it still is. No. It's clearing. That's better. Yeah, it's better now.
All right. Well, let's give it a try. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, let's get to the questions.
All right. All right. This is one someone asked earlier today online. Do mangoes grow to market weight in 6 to 9 months? That's like 300 pounds plus. And do you castrate and remove tusks on feeders?
Okay. First of all, let's sort that out. Do Mangalitsas grow to market weight in 6 to 9 months? You may be wondering, what is market weight? Well, for a while, market weight was 240. That's a pretty small pig, really. And then they changed it to 280. And really what market weight is, the size of pig that they have the greatest feed to rate of gain coefficient, the peak of that. And then it starts going down the other side. And at the peak, when the pigs are putting on the most weight per measure of feed that they're getting, they want to process them right then. So you may get a small pork chop, but they're making better money off of it, right? And so the way it used to be was 240 was the market weight. And they would tool the slaughter plants. What I mean by tool it is all the measurements would be for a pig in that range. And if one, 500 pounder came through, they couldn't even fit it through the line. So then they changed it to 280. So that's market weight right now. But that's for factory farming. In the type of farming that we're doing, if the application is going to be a roaster pig, so you're going to have a relatively small pig that you're going to be putting on a roaster for a barbecue or something like that, it could be 50 to 100 pounds, which is a pretty small pig. But it's for that application. You're going to eat all of it on that day with, very few leftovers. You're not going to cut it up. You're just going to put the whole thing on a roaster. And then if you're going to be doing a charcuterie pig, if it's us, we like them big. So we like to have big hams that we can hang and big collar muscles that we can turn into copas. So we don't really deal in market weight. And with the homestead as well, other factors are going to come into your calculation as to what weight to butcher your animal. Like, let's say the animal's really big, but it's summertime and you're butchering on farm. Not a good time to butcher. Okay, and so we're going to wait until fall, and then it's really big, but we can't do it this day because we have Aunt Edna's funeral we got to go to, and we can't do it this day because we have a Red Sox game to go to. So we got to do it this day right here. In that case, the timing is more important than the weight of the animal. Because on the homestead, we're going to process the animal and it's going to go into our freezer or into a friend's freezer for our own sustenance. So if it's really small, but it's the weekend we can do it and we need meat, that's the weekend we're going to do it. If it's really big, You know, that's the way it goes. I did a sow. When was that? No, I can't even remember. Everything's blurred together. It's been so busy lately. It was Monday, and she took one time and then never took again. So she never had piglets again. And you know, we kept her around because she was a really healthy animal, and we thought she would, but she didn't. And so we finally processed her, and she was 446 pounds. Big girl. So getting her into the scalding pot was a challenge. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't put her in the scalding pot. We did a turn and burn on her. The Romanians did that one, so I didn't even get involved that much on that one. But I was thinking about the one I did for Rachel. I don't remember the weight on that exactly. Was it
349.
349?
Or something live. I don't remember.
Yeah, right. It was 4 something. But it was even a little long to fit in the scalding pot, so we just had to make do with it and do the best we could. But it came out good. Came out really good. So, you know, we're kind of all over the place, but I will tell you this about Mangalitsa, which it's a good pig. It's a really good pig. They do grow. I mean, well, let me put it this way. I mean, Mangalitsa pig is pretty close to the pig that was on Noah's Ark. As a matter of fact, some of us believe it is really a special pig because it was the pig that was on Noah's Ark. Okay? That's what I believe. So it's more close to the perfect pig before man got his hooks into it, right? So it's really a good pig. And they grow at a certain rate. And then we have these pigs that they put in confinement facilities that are hybridized, and they can get those things to market weight in like 6.5 months, right? So they're still juveniles. They're not even grown up. They don't have the muscle configuration that a mature pig would have, or an adult pig, because they're still juveniles at 6.5 months. So, I mean, think about it. They're not even a year old, and they're processing them, but they have a crummy life anyway in those CAFOs. So the word out there is, well, Mangalitsa's, they just grow too slow. But tell Noah that his pigs grow too slow. Okay, that's all I can say. I think that they're comparing, you know, a holy pig with just a rotten bastardized pig. So I don't think you should do that. So, you know, you're going to hear that they grow slower. No, these ones grow at a crazy rate that's not even supposed to be like that. So there you go. What was the other part of the question? Oh, do we cut the tusks off? No, you don't do that.
Castrate and remove tusks on feeders.
No, we don't remove the tusks, and I don't recommend that. It sounds like a good idea that a piglet is going to be nursing on its mother. So if you cut the tusks off, or the pin teeth, they're like needle teeth, sort of like a puppy has, that the piglet won't damage the mother's teats. That would indicate that it was a poor design. And I've never seen, you know, a sow's teats get really tore up anyway. I just haven't seen that. So maybe that happens in confinement facilities. I don't know, because I've never operated one. I have been in one, actually. When I first got out of the service, I was driving semis and picking up loads of pigs and taking them down to Indiana, and it just really turned me off. Just really turned me off, that whole thing. As far as castrating goes, yeah, you got to castrate them. And we have that conversation a lot. And there's good friends of mine that swear up and down that they don't castrate adult pigs and they don't notice the difference. But I think I would notice the difference. There's a certain smell, certain urine-y smell And I completely avoid that by castrating the pigs. So we usually do it at about 2, 3, 4 weeks old, something like that. Whenever we get around to it, it's not really a big deal. Yes.
Ready. Dion wanted you to talk more about goat feed for feeder pigs to supplement in the winter.
Well, that came up last night because Alyssa Trombley, who they're the people who castrate, who don't castrate. And they have a pretty good market for their pigs too. They have a local shop that carries their pigs. I think they live in kind of an ethnic area, maybe Italians, and they're tearing it up. But she was saying that she wanted other ideas for feeding. And, you know, if you do go to the co-op, if you go to any kind of feed thing, they're going to say, and you ask them, they'll say, oh, you got to feed hog chow, Purina hog chow or hog cubes or something like that. And we've had this conversation. I don't agree with that because if you look, a guy sent me a tag today off of hog cubes and he says, are these okay? And right at the top, it said 35% raw protein. And what is that raw protein? That's everything from the huge slaughtering facilities that will not fit in a Spam can. They dry it, they pulverize it, and then they put it back in pig feed. So it's ground up pigs really in pig feed. And I just don't think that's a good idea. Mostly because, they never really cure those pigs of any diseases. They just hold the diseases at bay with antibiotics and other medications in those big CAFO facilities. The pigs are never really healthy. They just keep medicated so that they make it. When I was driving a semi, there was a lot of pigs that could not get off of the semi. And this was in the summertime. So it wasn't like they were cold. They were just weak. And they were just, I don't know. We did get some of them. The guy that owned the semi, one time he made a round robin trip and he came back and the pigs that wouldn't get off, they didn't want him at the plant. So he brought them here and they were still alive. And yeah, we shot them in the trailer and hauled them off, brought them to the shop. We thought, ooh, look at us. We've got these great pigs now. They stunk. They stunk up the yard, just pulling them through the yard. And it was only like 4 of them. And we never did that again. No, we never did that again. But it was because of that crude protein or that raw protein is what they call it. So I don't recommend that. And so I said to Alyssa that we get goat feed from the co-op. And this is not a trick question here, but it's what, 16%? It's got a pellet in it, and we've read the contents of it, and it's nothing that we wouldn't mind feeding to our milk cow, who we're going to drink her milk. So there's nothing in there that we're saying, hey, wait a minute, what's this? And it's got a little bit of molasses on it, so it's sweet. And, I said that I'm going to get some of it and I'm going to feed it to my little pigs in the wintertime because there's nothing for them to forage. They're just getting bread, and I'm giving them a little bit of hay, and they eat straw. Believe it or not, they eat their bedding. And so I'm going to give them some of this just to give them a boost, just to get them ahead of the game a little bit. The pigs that I'm feeding out right now, I have them ready for next fall, for classes in the fall, believe it or not. Like, I have very few pigs. I'm going to have to find some, but they need to be Mangalitsa, which is a good pig. It's a good pig. How's that?
Did you see that question?
Which question? I did not.
Homestead asked if Mangalitsa was a good pig.
I think it's a good pig. There are other good pigs out there, but they're not as good. I think Mangalitsa is a little bit gooder. It's gooder than the next pig, I think. And you know, as I've iterated here, it was probably the pig that was on Noah's Ark. I mean, and when you think about it, I had collar steaks for lunch today, and they were just heavenly, and they're just so good. They're just so good. I mean, you're eating them, and you feel like you're eating beef. And I was thinking about the last time I had a pork chop. I don't really even remember when that was. The pork chop from Store Pigs.
Oh, heavens.
Remember when we first got here and that school teacher of yours asked us over for dinner and she made a pork roast?
Yeah.
Mrs. I don't remember that old lady. She's still around. And yeah, I think that was the last time we ate any commercial pork. It's boring, you know. And then you eat Mangalitsa, which is a pretty good pig, and you know, your eyes just open up. I mean, you feel like breathing. At least I do. Go ahead. I'll take the next question.
All right. And this is a little different. Kaleidoscope asked, have you scalded a pig without submerging it? So I'm thinking she means more scraped rather than scalded.
No, some people will have a pig and they'll have it laying on a table, and then they'll put like a burlap bag on it and then pour the water over the burlap bag to scald it. And I have not done that. I have never done that. So the answer is no. The ways that our Romanian friends do it is, I've told you this, they will lay it down on a bed of straw. No, actually, they don't do that. One did that, but the majority of them just lay it over on its side, and then they cover it with straw, and then they torch it off. And then they'll rake more straw up onto it to keep the flame going, and it burns the hair off, and then they'll torch it a little bit. They'll scrape it with knives. They'll keep working it like that until they get it really clean, and it'll be kind of a golden amber color. Won't be brown. It'll just be an amber color, and they do that because the skin to them is part of what they're going to eat. And I agree. We save the skin too. We have a way that we strip the skin away from the fat, and then we usually cut it into strips about like this. So it's long strips, and then we boil that until you can pinch through it. And then you cool it off, run it through the grinder. And if you mix that in with your sausage that's going to go in casings, the collagen that's in there will hold those babies together. And, you know, I'm hearing a lot about collagen these days. You know, everybody's, you know, saying collagen will help hold you together and, you know, make your parts sit up higher and all this stuff. I'm hearing that. And it's true. It's true. And the best place to get that is in the Mangalitsa pig, of course. Right. So, no, Jill makes head cheese. And the way that's done is when we take the heads off, we clean them up real good in the sink, best we can. We get them good and clean, and then we'll boil them. Ears on or ears off? I don't remember.
Well, I take the ears off so I can clear in the ear canals.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, no earwax.
Yeah. And then all the meat comes off the head. And there's a tremendous amount of collagen in that. And so when you boil them first, and then you take the heads out when they're cool enough to handle. You strip all the meat off, and the hide is really soft then too. And then you cut that all up, you put it in a pan, and then you pour the stock over it. And then that stock, when it cools, it actually turns into gelatin, right? And that's the collagen actually that's setting up. So I don't know. We probably ought to do some testing with Mangalitsa collagen. You know, different. We could get some test subjects and just say, hey, have you got anything that's sagging or anything like that, and then we'll put some collagen on there, and then we'll wait a couple weeks and see if it's kind of gone back up into place. Hey, I tell you what, we haven't even scratched the surface with this Mangalitsa pig. This is a medicinal pig.
Kaleidoscope wanted to know, does the flame weeder leave bits of hair under the skin? If so, how long is it?
Does the flame leave?
Right. Like sometimes there's still...
Yeah, well, no, actually, the way this is done, Kaleidoscope, is when you flame it, when you hit it with the flame, it actually loosens it up. So then when you take a knife and pull the knife across it, it has the same effect as dehairing. I don't know, like you don't do. Maybe we should come up with like Nair or something for pigs. No, it pulls it out. It definitely pulls it out. So it doesn't leave that ugly root. I know what you're talking about. No, it doesn't leave that in there. Occasionally you see one, but nope. You need to come to one of our classes, Kaleidoscope. We've known you a long time. It would be fun to hang out for the weekend. And one of the big problems about doing the class, for me, psychologically, I'm fragile. I'm very fragile. And you spend the weekend with people, three days, and then the class is over and they leave. And I'm devastated. I'm just devastated sometimes. So I thought, could I live through, the punishment that I lived through given this class times 3? I don't know if I could. I might get PTSD or something from it, and then I'd be no good to anybody. Couldn't sleep. Wouldn't want to breed anymore. Okay, next question.
Skip that one for now. Matt Kovac wanted to know.
I know Matt.
Any advice on harvesting a really large hog, say 600 pounds plus?
Use a big gun.
Is a Remington 35 cal okay?
Yeah. So you're going to go for that, huh? Matt is okay. Matt, we do business with Matt. Share bread with him and stuff. And he got a line on 2 big pigs. And the guy said that they were 600 pounds. But now Matt's saying that I was thinking, well, the guy probably just is estimating 6, but they're probably like 3. But the guy can't get him in to get him processed. Evidently, he doesn't have a trailer and just wants them gone. And so he gave Matt a really good deal on them. And so I think Matt's going to go for it. But they're not Mangalitsa, so they're substandard. Fun on the Homestead. Who's that? Is that Lorna? Yeah, I thought so.
Yes, you're so very sensitive.
I hope she's not mocking me. I'm going to need a hurt feelings report before the end of this if you're mocking me. So yeah, you're going to need to do something there. Why don't we talk when you come get bread this week about that?
We need some more questions.
Okay.
You see Kaleidoscope's.
Kaleidoscope, I would love to attend a class, but girls named Dixie need to stay in the pecan and peach territory. Well, no, we could help you with that. We can. No, you can come. You'd be welcome up north. I'm a transplant. I'm really from serious Yankee country over Massachusetts, but no, you'd be welcome here. If there's no more questions,
Yeah.
yeah,
This
if
is
you
a
guys
great
got
one.
questions, you better get them in. We've got a little bit of time.
Yeah. Otherwise, we get to go to bed.
Yeah, well,
Really.
here's how my day went. I had a lot of work to do today. We were going to actually run down to Indiana and get some things, but it was a little too close to New Year's or to Christmas Eve, and I have some things that I needed to do for Christmas. I actually had to get this straightened out. I made one of these for my my daughter-in-law and one of them for another gal that I'm pretty close to. And I wanted to get them done, so I didn't really want to go to Indiana. And cows need to be fed, needed to do some fence work. I just had things to do, and I didn't feel like I could take off out of here. And so I jobbed it this morning. I just jobbed it and stayed out until about 5:30 and came in, sat down here for a minute. I said, I got to go lay down. And it was one of those times where I laid down. I mean, I took my shoes off and everything. Laid down, put a blanket over me, and I felt like I was falling into the mattress. I felt like it was surrounding me. I was falling into it. And all the noise that was going on didn't matter. Didn't matter. Because I didn't need to fall asleep. I just needed to lay down for a minute. And in about 30 minutes, I was up and I was fine. But the problem with that is when bedtime comes around tonight, I'm not going to be too interested in that. So I'll be more interested in documentaries on TV or what's going on out in the world and things like that. Which, if we want to talk about what's going on out in the world, I'd be glad to chime in on that, unless there's other questions.
Nope.
No? I am going to recommend that everybody go to the Tipping Point Radio and listen to the show that was on today. It was a show from the day before yesterday, but I believe that the information that's in there is very good because I cross-referenced some of the stuff that he talked about. And, you know, I just believe that that things are good and they couldn't be any better. What we're going through right now is the administration has to exhaust all avenues to rectify what we all know is voter fraud and treason. So we have to rectify that, and they're going through all the different channels. And these governors, apparently, that are certifying these election results, knowing the information that's out there, are putting themselves in a great deal of jeopardy. And if you listen to this Scott McKay guy on Tipping Point, he's going to make reference to who was that justice that was just confirmed this summer? What was his name?
Oh, his.
I just listened to it today.
Sorry.
I could tell you here in a minute. All I have to do is go to my history.
Your skincare routine
Whoa.
sucks. Sorry.
What have you been watching?
Yeah. Commercial. Wow. Okay, actually,
So when somebody says post 9/11 that we've been at war and it's called the war on terrorism, do you generally agree with that concept?
I do, Senator, because Congress passed the authorization for use of military force, which is still in effect, and that was passed, of course, on September 14th, 2001, 3 days
Judge
later.
Kavanaugh,
Let's
by
talk
the way.
about the law and war. Is there a body of law called the law of armed conflict?
There is such a body, Senator.
Is there a body of law that's called basic criminal law?
Yes, Senator.
Are there differences between those two bodies of law?
Yes, Senator.
From an American citizen's point of view, do your constitutional rights follow you? If you're in Paris, does the Fourth Amendment protect you as an American from your own government?
From your own government, yes.
Okay. So, if you're in Afghanistan, do your constitutional rights protect you against your own government?
If you're an American in Afghanistan, you have constitutional rights as against the U.S. government.
Is there a long-standing...
That's
Right.
long settled law.
Isn't there also a long-settled law that it goes back to the Eisentrager case? I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, Johnson versus Eisentrager.
Right. That American citizens who collaborate with the enemy have considered enemy combatants.
They can be.
Can be.
They can be. They're sometimes criminally prosecuted, sometimes treated in the military.
Well, let's talk about can be. I think
Under Supreme Court precedent.
Right. There's a Supreme Court decision that said that American citizens who collaborated with Nazi saboteurs were tried by the military. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I think a couple of them were executed.
Yeah.
So if anybody doubts, there's a long-standing history in this country.
So this was 2 years ago, and I was listening to that hearing. I remember right where I was when I was listening to it. I was actually had my earbuds in and I was working, and that line of questioning came out of nowhere. It was not relative to anything that was going on prior to that. This is the Kavanaugh hearing where they were accusing him of being a gang rapist and all this other stuff. So what Lindsey Graham just did is he established the fact that civilians who collaborate during a time of war with our enemies to subvert our government can be tried as enemy combatants under LOAC, which is the law of armed conflict. And I've been telling you this for a long time. And, you know, why Lindsey Graham brought that up was so it could be read into the record during a Supreme Court nomination hearing. That's why he did that. And I think it was part of the plan. They knew what was coming. And so that's really what's happening. And, you know, the final drop, right, from QAnon said, this is going to be the last drop for a while. And this came the night before last. And he said, just stay the course, keep your head down, stay out of the way, and have a little faith. Because there's not really much that we can do. You know, we can make provisions to keep ourselves, you know, hydrated and fed and safe, but we don't affect a lot of what's going on. We don't. We can make phone calls to our governor's office and stuff, and our governor said to us, Michiganders can kiss my ass, is what she said. So I don't think she really cares what we have said. And if you look at the irrational way that she's acting, she's got herself between a rock and a hard place. The rock is us. The hard place is probably the Chinese Communist Party. That's probably what's going on. So it's going to be a tough time for a lot of people. And once they're taken care of, we can get back to work and get back to normal. In the homesteading business, I think we're going to flourish because people are going to once again be able to not get taxed into oblivion. When I was a kid, my father could work, my mother stayed home and took care of the house and took care of the kids, laundry, all that stuff. Probably a very, you know, more important than what my father was doing. She made a bigger impact on this world than he did. And we lived really comfortably on what he made. That's almost unheard of these days. And that's because of what has happened. We've been strangled as the people, and it would continue into a lot further into where we're getting up in the middle of the night to go down and stand in line for one bottle of milk. They would love that because then we would be shut up, sit down, go do your work, and don't worry about it. They would love that, but that's not what this place is all about, and it won't be. And probably the stakes right here are at least as high as the stakes during the American Revolution, or probably greater, During the American Revolution, we were dealing with a king. He wasn't the greatest, but he wasn't the Chinese Communist Party either. So I heard a lot of good things today. There's a lot of movement happening. The president, you just need to know this. You need to know this. The president has the military option. He has the option right now to say, okay, the courts can't handle this. And not because they don't want to, it's because they're being threatened. If you rule a certain way against us, the CCP, you're dead. And so that's when the president has to relieve the situation and say, okay, it's time for the Insurrection Act. And with the Insurrection Act, the military has the option of working, or the civilian authorities have the option of working with the military, but the military can push them out anytime they want. So they will actually be running the investigations. So what you heard Lindsey Graham say right there was, if they pick somebody up and they can prove that they had anything to do with the election information offshoring, that's treason right there. That is treason. And that will be dealt with, could be dealt with in a military tribunal, and it could result in some very harsh punishments, extremely harsh punishments. Actually, I heard what went on today was there was a woman in Georgia, and I didn't see this film, but evidently she pulls a briefcase out and she takes ballots out and starts running them through the machine, and takes the whole stack and runs them through again. And they did a rough count, and they figured that she probably ran through about 40,000 votes, and they were all pristine ballots, that no folds in them or anything. And they were supposed to be this, the mail-in kind. And just so happens nobody else was there to watch this, but they got it on security camera, and they popped her, and she rolled over and she said, well, she told me to do it, Stacey Abrams. So now they're on to questioning her. And so I think we're going to see some, just flip after flip after flip going on over the next couple of days. And I have friends that I have a lot of respect for, and they're just really misinformed because the mainstream media right now is on a war path, because they're fighting for their lives. Anderson Cooper is not going to do very well if things don't go his way. But I won't do very well if things do go his way. So, but I'm not in a mad rush to tell lies and everything like that, like they do, just to make it go my way, because I kind of know it's going to go our way anyway, because good always triumphs over evil. And I know that a lot of those people on TV are evil. Just their lifestyles are evil. So I think we should just kind of relax, let the experts do their thing, get the seed catalog out, start making some planters, start letting your creative juices flow, enjoy your homes and your family, reach out to people who are hurting, and let's have a good Christmas. I guess that'll be my...
You got a couple questions.
Oh, do we? See, I thought that was going to be a nice transition into, snow falling down behind me and everything.
That's why
But-
I,
All right.
Yeah,
She held
that's
me
fine.
back.
all right. Back to farm stuff. Oops, wrong page. Makato wanted to know, what are the top 3 things to become a profitable overall farm? Starting from day one, what to plan, what to do.
Top 3, huh?
good question.
Okay. Gee, that is a good question. And I could write down about 10 things and then we could probably narrow them down. When you do your first function, whatever that is, let's say that you decide you're going to do pastured poultry and you get your first batch of chicks, you raise them up, you do all the things you got to do, and you have 75, let's say, and you only lose a couple of them, and you sell half of them and put half of them in your freezer. And you make, maybe the half that you sell, you make enough money to cover the expenses, and the ones that are in your freezer for your family you didn't put out any money for those. So that is a gain. So right there, you've made a victory. You've made a success. And I would say embrace that, embrace that, feel it, smell it, hug it, all that stuff, dwell on it, dwell on a success, and then say, I bet I could do 150 next time. And then move on from there and set your sights on a goal of how many you'd want to do. I wouldn't say, I think I'll do 20,000 of them, because then you're just going to be doing nothing but chickens. But maybe that would be good for you. For me, no, because I like to diversify. I like, doing a little bit of this process over here and then this process over here and then this process. I like to kind of move around. So I like to do about 5 chicken tractors. That's where I think we're going to be, 5, 6, something like that. I always say keep your day job. And I think I kind of heard Joel Salatin say that one time. So that's maybe where I got it. But until you're ready to transition, because your day job will provide you with dollars. And if you just look at your day, let's say you work 8 hours a day with commuting, let's say it's 10. That leaves you 14 hours before you have to be back there again. Well, how many of those hours could you dedicate to your farm operation? And let's say you can dedicate 4 hours a day to your farm operation, and then you can put in a full day on Saturday. So just calculate the number of hours and then say, okay, what can I do with this amount of time? And there's got to be recreation in there too. But I think people like us find solace in work. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I didn't work. If I got up in the morning and I was just going to plop down in front of the TV and watch Oprah, it'd be really fun, but I couldn't do it more than a minute. And then I'd have to go out and do something else. I wouldn't like it. I like to work. I like my work. I like to create things. I like to, even the stuff that I don't like to do, I like to get it done, And I have this thing to where I'll sit and I'll do an inventory in my head. What's happening right now? All right, I've got beef production going on right now. Probably not now. They're probably not eating now. No, they're probably just chewing their cud right now. But I've got milk production going on right now. It's all happening. The milk is being produced in the udders of my cows. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to get that out, and then we're going to do something with that milk. But you have to, and I've got pork production going on. I've got egg production going on. And now it's wintertime, so I have a time to do some building and stuff like that I don't get to do in the summertime. But I'm gaining, I'm gaining honor. I'm gaining. And then when I have a winter that's been as easy as this one has been, I can gain more. I can do more things that I couldn't normally do. So I guess that first thing would be embrace your profits, embrace it, even the little ones. And probably by the same token, your failures, let them go. Just let them go, catalog them. Oh yeah, okay, won't do that again, but let it go. And then if that's 1 and 2, I guess 3 would be learn to enjoy the process of it. So if you're gonna go and build some fences, enjoy it. And how do you do that? A lot of times I will think of some of my friends that have been injured, and it just so happens I come out of the war industry, and so some of my friends have been injured badly, and I will kind of say to myself, well, I got to go out and make a fence today. I got a stretch fence, and that fence is heavy, and it's hot out, and the bugs are biting. And well, how'd you like to be sitting in a wheelchair? And then you'd say, oh, I'd love to go out and build fence. So go those places too, and really enjoy the process. Like if you are on a piece of property where you can go out and actually do this, think of the guy that's in Manhattan, that's working a job and, stuck, got a lease on this apartment, and the apartment's $10,000 a month. And, just think about that, and think how much closer you are to being where you want to be and enjoying the intentional lifestyle that you're pursuing. So, and I don't know, that's kind of a tough question. The top 3, those are 3, but they're the 3 for tonight, and they're the 3 that I could come up with tonight. If you ask me, after Christmas, what are the top 3 for, Tuesday, I'll probably give you 3 different ones, but they're all important, and it's important to enjoy your work, and it's important to have a lot of pride in your work, to love your work. I keep going back to that, the big friendly giant, right? The BFG. And at one point he was being told that he could no longer do what he was doing. I guess he collected spirits or something. I don't know. But he said,
Dreams.
Collected dreams. I don't know. I wasn't really watching it. My kids were, but he said, this is my work. And I used to hear old guys say that. This is my work. Like, this is who I am, and embrace that, man. Embrace that. Shine your tools. Okay.
All right. And then this is the last one that I have. Joe from Maine, Joe Brown.
Joe Brown.
He processed 33 deer this year. How big a jump is it to go from deer to pigs?
I don't know as it's just gonna be different because the deer are gonna be less slippery. Pigs are gonna be a little bit greasier. So and deer, they're usually dead when they come to you. So you're going to be killing the pigs right on your place. So that's a whole different thing. Most of the guts, if you get a deer with guts still in it, that doesn't happen too often. Usually people field dress them. So you'll know, and I know Joe Brown, and he's just going to do it, and he'll find out. So you'll be telling me. I didn't see those 2 processes even as even close, because deer we skin and pigs we don't. Pigs we scald and scrape. And the cut up on a pig, the breakdown is quite different than on a deer. On a deer, mostly we're just taking a few cuts off of the deer and we're boning it and grinding it. That's how we do it. So a pig is a little bit more complex because there's a lot of things there that you just don't have. And then we don't do any curing on a deer. So there's a learning curve, but you'll get it. You'll get it. Joe Brown can do whatever he wants to do. So if that's it, I'm going to sign off, wish everybody a Merry Christmas. If something comes up and I need to go live just to keep you informed, I will certainly do that. If we could get thumbs ups from everybody. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do that. The numbers have been going way up. And I think that's because I'm saying hello to people as they come in. And I don't think I said hello to Mary. I saw her come in between buffering. But hi, Mary, I know you're here. We have a pretty good list of regulars. But look at this, like 35 people on here. It's quite a bit. And the last couple nights, I've looked back through them, and the number of views has been up over 200. So that's quite a bit. If we had all those people in one room, we'd surely have a crowd. I don't know I think I was about to tell you about this, but if we go with this 2.0 thing, somebody just gave $20. Ricardo, hey, thanks, man. Thanks, appreciate that. I'll put that towards the building. Well, what I'd like to do is put up a building, a pole building, not too big, but I'd like to have a full kitchen in it with good sized prep tables so people could work on those tables. And then, have like 6 burners and an oven and a dishwasher and fully furnished with pots, pans, and all that stuff. So in the 2.0 class, I think we'd be doing a lot more cooking with the Mangalitsa. And then we'd have a seating area and sort of almost like a lecture area. And it would be here on the farm so that, we could do these classes in the wintertime, which kind of makes sense because this is when I'm not real busy. Fall time, we're just coming out of poultry and turkeys, and yeah, we can get pretty busy. This would really be the time to be doing classes. Now, personally, I like to seek out classes and do them in the wintertime when we're in a lull time and don't mind doing a little driving and maybe stay in a hotel or something like that. I think it was this time, it was March last year, we went to the Rogue Food Conference. It was nice. It's a nice break getting off the farm. But we won't have it this year, will we? Because of COVID. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to look into what it would cost to build something like that. And I'd like to do it smart so that the payback on it would be, you could use the proceeds from the classes and get it paid off, because we don't want to have, on the homestead, we don't want to have outstanding other than your mortgage. That's tough to get on top of that. But if you are smart about it, your profits really start to roll about the time you get your homestead paid off, and maybe you're getting close to finishing up your day job, and then you come back to the homestead and the profits are good. But anyway, and somebody else, I don't get to see it on here.
That was Mary.
Mary. Thanks, Mary. You ought to come to one of our classes too. Where's Mary from? Indiana? I think Kaleidoscope is Ohio.
Further
No?
south.
We got to write this stuff down. These people are our family now. Well, thanks for all the good wishes, and everybody, please go out and have a good, safe, and press through all this negative. Press through it. They're doing it on purpose. Have fun. Have fun. And if you need to invite people in, do it. Or you need to get invited to somebody else's house, get invited to somebody else. If somebody needs to come here, come here. We've got plenty of room. 10 extra people doesn't matter. we've got enough going on. But anyway, I'm going to get going. Merry Christmas, and we will see you probably next Monday. Good night.